two of the most interesting news stories that I've seen in the last year relate to U.S. Steel. And those of you who might have memorized my account of how the mini mills have disrupted the steel industry might remember that all but one of the integrated steel companies in North America have gone bankrupt and purchased at fire sale prices. The only one that hasn't been driven into bankruptcy is U.S. Steel. And they announced, I can't remember the timing, but somewhere in the September-October 2015 time frame, that finally U.S. Steel was going to build a mini mill. And I thought, triumph, you know. And then in just before Christmas, U.S. Steel announced that they're not going to build the mini mill after all. And the question is, why? You know, and because they still have the mini mills a 20% cost advantage versus the integrated steel companies. And this is my explanation for why. And it relates to a principle that we're taught in finance, that we should generally ignore sunk costs and fixed costs and assess investments in marginal terms, not whole dollar terms. And so from the mini mill's perspective, if they're building a new mini mill, they'll have to account for the full cost of making this mill. And in fact, for them, building the mill, the full cost is the marginal cost because they're adding to their capacity. But for the integrated steel companies, they use only 70% or so of their existing capacity. And so financially, somebody looks at a proposal to make a new mini mill and add to capacity. They're comparing the full cost of making a completely new steel mill versus the marginal cost of, if I want to sell more steel, I ought to utilize my existing capacity, because the marginal cost of an additional ton of steel is less than $20 a ton. And so the profitability of the marginal cost thinking is it is way more profitable to use what we have rather than creating what's new. And that marginal cost thinking has made it impossible for U.S. Steel to invest in a mini mill for 50 years. That principle has prevented them from doing it. And once again, marginal cost thinking won the battle.